Good afternoon. I'm the acting chief of the Stillwater Police Department, Cody Manuel. I just want to thank you all for coming to our officer graduation from their CLEET Academy and their in-house academy. I see representatives from our city manager's office, city attorney, city council, as well as a number of loved ones for our graduating officers and our current officers and our retired officers. So it's very heartening to see you all here. I appreciate your attendance. Today we're here to recognize Officer Austin Calderon, Officer Connor Clark, and Officer Silas Weeks for their graduation from the CLEET Academy, receiving their basic peace officer certification, as well as the in-house Stillwater Police Department certification. We want to recognize these officers for their hard work, but also would like to take a moment to recognize their loved ones and families who are here. Their path to get to this point has not been easy, and I know that they have leaned on all of you to support them in this time. I just want to thank you for that. They will need a lot more of your support as they go through the field training program and out into their careers as police officers, so thank you very specifically for that. While we want to celebrate their accomplishments in the CLEET Academy, I would also like to speak to what brought them here to us at the Stillwater Police Department. Each of these officers has endured multiple interviews, from interviews with the peer officers that they're going to work with to supervisors, all the way up to a one-on-one interview with the chief of police. They've been through background checks where loved ones and friends from the past, co-workers, employers, people that they've known for their whole life have been sought out and spoken to get an idea of what their character is. They've been through psychological evaluations and assessments to try to get a better understanding of who they are as people. They've been through medical exams and demanding physical testing. They've also been through a polygraph examination, which is very stressful, and that just is the ultimate insurance that everything that they had told us up to that point was correct and true. So we've strived to teach each of these officers everything they need to know to be successful as Stillwater police officers. But one thing we cannot teach them is what our extensive testing showed each of them already possesses, and that's integrity. Each of these men have lived good lives, conducted themselves with honor and integrity. And the Stillwater Police Department's various training programs will build on top of this foundation to produce some of the finest police officers in our state who our community can be proud of. Now I'd like to introduce Sergeant Blakey, who is our training unit supervisor. He has oversawn all of the training for all of these officers for the past several months, and we'll show you some cool stuff that they've been up to.
Good afternoon. Like you said, I'm Sergeant Blakey, the training unit supervisor. As of today, these three gentlemen have completed over 1,100 hours of training to certify them as full-time law enforcement officers in the state of Oklahoma. That training has consisted of 120 hours of defensive tactics training, which I'm sure they can attest was not fun. 40 hours of active shooter training, 120 hours plus of firearms training, 40 hours of law enforcement driving training, 70 hours of legal, 200 hours of various different disciplines of investigations training, and several hundred more hours of all kinds of other various required classes by the state. They performed at or above our standards in numerous decision-making scenarios under mental and physical stress. We challenged their individual limits of their bodies and their minds. We challenged their perspectives and remolded their way of thinking. They have shed blood and sweat to better themselves and prepare for their service to this community. We're proud to see them move on to the field training program next, where we hope to see them excel and soon become solo patrol officers. And now we'll start our video that we made of just kind of the highlight reel of their training over the last several months.
So now we've seen what these officers have been up to. We've talked about what led them here in their lives, what they've been up to for the past several months, and now I'd like to give you a little insight into what they will be up to next with the Stillwater Police Department. They will be entering our field training and evaluation program starting as soon as tomorrow night, and conducting 15 weeks of in-service training with a field training officer, or what we call an FTO. Each of them will have 3 FTOs, and they will work with those FTOs across 3 different shifts, various days of work. They're going to get a lot of exposure to our city and different ways to conduct their business as police officers. During those 4 phases, there will be building blocks with increasing levels of responsibility that each of them will start doing more and more of the work of a solo patrol officer. One thing important to remember is that once they go out into the field training and evaluation program, the people and the crimes and the dangers encountered in the field training program will not be scenarios that are set up by our training unit any longer. Those will be real. So they will need all of the support and all the guidance that they can get, and I know that our FTOs will give that to them. So the FTOs are going to teach, coach, scrutinize these officers in every action they take over the next 4 months. They will painstakingly document the performance of their officers during their 10-hour shifts and offer praise, correction, and guidance. These 3 officers must now prove their ability to meet the high expectations of not just the FTOs, but our department and our community. The CLEET Academy and our in-house training program have given them all of the tools that they need to be successful, and I have every confidence that they will be successful. Sergeant Blakey will now present each of these officers with a custom pin with their CLEET Academy number and name engraved on it. One may ask, officers, if you'd come forward. One may ask what the significance of a pin is for a new police officer. In fact, despite the endless technological advances over the years, the vast majority of this service profession that we are in comes down to an officer standing with a citizen and taking written information. These shiny and polished pins can be tucked into the pockets of dress uniforms of each of these officers. Badges, collar brass, handcuffs, and duty belts will become worn and replaced. Some of us replace our duty belts for reasons other than being worn. But I pray these pins will remain proudly displayed on the breast of your Class A uniforms for a long career to come, to remind you of how far you've come and all the good that you've done in those uniforms. I'll now present the CLEET certificates and in-house training graduation diplomas to our officers. That's the end of our ceremony. I appreciate each of you's attendance on such a crazy day in Stillwater, braving traffic to be here. Please feel free to come forward and take pictures with these officers, as many as you want, and our officers, FTOs who are here. If you guys would like to take pictures, please just come on up. Thank you all.